feel like I have a lot to share tonight. So this is like, I feel like team calls have been something that have been on my brain for like months and months, and I've been just kind of like not getting around to them. And I was telling my husband about this because like I had one scheduled for like 2 weeks ago, and then this friend of ours passed away in Lloydminster, had to go to the funeral, and then I'm like, okay, I'll rebump it to another day, and then it's like, oh, but I have something else. So it was like just the whole idea of like treating this as a business and sticking to your business time. And I feel like that's something that's been really on my mind a lot, because I feel like there's so much potential with this. And yet at the same time, what are our priorities? You know, do we want Beachbody to be, you know, something amazing and great and, you know, provide us with an incredible income? Or is it just a hobby? Or is it just, you know, kind of a little side thing that we do? You know, like it's really, everybody's going to be different. And so I just feel like for myself, it's always beckoning me, you know, like I always want to know what could this business actually become. But anyhow, okay, so I'm going to get right into it, because this call is all about a virtual assistant, because that is the reason why. And I'm still like pinching myself. Like I have the most Success Club points that I've ever gotten in my entire life. Prior to now, I think was 33. And this past month I got 30 and Ken got 12. So that's 42 Success Club points. I just can't believe it. And it was so funny because I would like check my online, oh, like it keeps going up. It keeps going up because anyhow, my assistant would notify me and be like, okay, Janelle, we got to 10. And I'm like, okay, awesome. So then I'm like, okay, we're good, you know? But no, like, and then it just kept happening. So I'm going to share with you first a few things before I get into why I got a virtual assistant and what exactly it is that she does for me. So first thing, I just wanted to update you guys on what I'm doing right now. So if anybody is new to this, if you're new to the team, if you're not sure like who I am. So, okay, my name's Janelle Yazinski, and I lead Team Something Beautiful, which I feel like brings me so much joy. Like when I see you guys in your posts and stuff like that, it just makes me so happy. And I feel like people are far surpassing me in quality and ability as a coach. And that makes me so happy too. When I see other people succeeding, it really does bring me a lot of joy. And so I've been doing this now for 4.5 years. Like, I just can't believe that, because it feels like I just started yesterday. I feel like a brand new coach, honestly. And in that time, I've had 2 babies, and I've been through 3 postpartums. And by far the most healthiest period of my life. I'm 37 years old. Yes. We have 5 kids, and we homeschool. And my husband travels a lot. So right now, as a coach, I am a 1-star diamond coach, and I would love to be 2-star diamond at Summit. I would love that. So by June 6th, like I think you have to hold it for 6 weeks prior, right? So do you know the official date where we have to hit it? It's before.
I feel like June 6th is the number I remember hearing.
Yeah.
That we have to have it locked in by then, and then you have to keep that status, so that whatever coaches get you to that have to remain active for that 6-week period.
Yeah. And I'm only a 1-star diamond because Carrie is a diamond.
and I would like to say Carrie has been a diamond for a long time. And I feel like I feel the same sentiment as you, and feeling like I know there's more potential to this, and I know that there are things that my team needs to do and put action behind in order to keep all of us growing as a team. Because yes, you are a 1-star diamond because of me, but I'm a 1-star, or I have my 1-star certificate. Like, I'm not currently a 1-star, but it's because I have a team. And so we build to these numbers and these stars because of our team. This isn't just us getting that designation, right? So like, I think like we have to just keep between now and June 6th, so that when we get to Summit, we can walk that stage with. Yeah,
because and that's the thing. I feel like we always need to see growth, right? Whether it's in our business, whether it's in our personal life, whether it's in, you know, finances or whatever. It's always good to see growth, and I just feel like that's one factor to show us that there's growth. Rory, I just want to give you like a big virtual hug.
I know.
I miss you. Okay, so so we're just quickly talking about like Summit and getting like rank advancements and stuff like that. so for anybody who's new, I also just want to quickly touch on Success Club points because some people might not totally be familiar with what Success Club is. So basically, Beachbody kind of puts sort of a benchmark for us to reach in our businesses, and that is Success Club 5. Because Success Club 5 means basically that we're connecting 3 people with a challenge pack or Shakeology Home Direct, which gives us 2 points. There's also other things that kind of give us Success Club points. I feel like I'm not totally well-versed in that area. If you are curious about it, just go into the coach back office, look up Success Club points, even in the FAQ, whatever, everything is there. Okay, so just know that all the answers are always at your fingertips. But the reason why they want you to be reaching Success Club 5 every single month is because that shows that there's growth in your business, that you're always connecting with new people. And so that's one way to make sure that you're always having some momentum in your business. So when I say like Success Club 30 for myself and then Success Club 12 for Ken, that means that in my personal business that I helped at least 15 new people. And then in Ken's, at least 6 new people. So because each person is worth about 2 points. Not that you can really put a value to a person, but that's just how the Success Club points kind of add up. So why did I get a virtual assistant? Okay, so I've had this assistant. Her name is Christy, and she's from the Philippines, and she is so lovely. She started helping me out when I was just about to have my baby, Maria. So it's already 2 years ago. So she's been working for me over 2 years. And I was at a point in my business where there was lots of momentum. And I was just feeling like I was spinning my wheels, like I couldn't keep up. Things that were, very basic that needed to get done were not getting done. Like saying, thank you for liking my page. I wasn't even able to do that because I just didn't have the time. And so I had seen some of Shalene Johnson's videos. She talked really great about virtual assistants, and I had seen a few other coaches talk about it, and I thought, okay, I think that's what I need. And at the time, we were even hiring, like my husband Ken was hiring somebody from the Philippines to do some graphic design, and the quality was incredible. Like these people are highly qualified people, and they're looking for work. They're looking for employment. So there are different online sites that you can go to kind of look for, foreign help. And I know like people always say do you feel bad because you're only paying this amount of money? So for example, I started paying my assistant $4 an hour when I started. And I felt badly because I felt like if I were to pay somebody in Canada, it would be a lot more than that. Like if you think of hiring a graphic designer or you think of hiring, anybody to help you, an assistant of any type, you would be paying a good amount of money for that person and for their time.
Just as a contrast, when I looked at getting a logo designed by somebody here, and it was my cousin, mm-hmm. She was going to charge me like $1,500 to get a logo designed. Just in comparison. Carry on.
Isn't that crazy?
It's bananas.
We can't afford that. And no. So her and I, like Christy and I, we negotiated a price, and for them, $4 an hour is an incredible wage. Incredible wage. And I've since increased it because I like to give her little bonuses and but I'm actually only at $4.25. And it's funny because I said when I reach 2-star, we're gonna do another one. But I feel like I should give her another raise but I give her like bonuses at her birthday, bonuses for Christmas, bonuses for and I'll like give her days off, like paid days off, because I'm just like I appreciate her so much because I feel like she is where I cannot be, and yet she does things that don't necessarily require my personal touch. So I appreciate that. So why did I get her? It's because there were so many holes in my business. Like I said, things that just were not getting accomplished. And I knew that I was about to have a new baby. Plus I was going to start homeschooling in September. So in June, so this was in June when she started working for me. So 2 months before having a baby in August. And it's kind of like, when you start, like, I don't really want to equate it to like dating a person, but like it takes you a while to get to know your assistant. How do they work? And like, I feel like now 2.5 years in with her, we've really got things down. Like besides my husband, Ken, she's the person that I can connect with the most in my day because we're continuously messaging. She has questions for me. And some days I go maybe a couple days without connecting with her, but I am in contact with her very, very regularly. So, where did I find her? I found her on, it's called Online Jobs PH for the Philippines. Here, let me just see. Yeah, PH, yeah, onlinejobs.ph. And just a couple tips. If you are somebody who's at a point in your business where you feel like you just need an extra set of hands to do some things that don't necessarily require your personal touch, like sending out, you know, I don't want to say messages, but at the same time, like sometimes they are. It's like, hey, we're starting a brand new group. Here's the link, you know, like some of those messages just, you know, you don't really need to put a personal flavor to them. It's just to kind of give someone the link to the group that they're already committed to joining. So where was I going with that? So anyhow, okay, so yes, onlinejobs.ph. So how to make sure that you find somebody that is appropriate for you, okay? Because this took me a little bit. And I also wanted to touch on when are you at a point in your business where you need to hire somebody? I've seen it said in different places, like if you're a star diamond or a diamond, people say this is when you're maybe at a point where you're ready to hire some help. And it also depends on like what else you have going on in your life, right? Like some coaches can do this full time, and other coaches are working full time or, you know, running a family or whatever, right? They have other commitments. So depending on where you're at, how much time you have, you might want to hire an assistant, and you might, depending on how much money you're making already, you have to kind of factor that in. Like, is it worth it for you to pay somebody to work X amount of hours for you, depending on how much money you're making? So what I did when I first got onto onlinejobs.ph, you have to create a profile, and if you're super generic, you're going to get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of applications, because that's what I did. My request for help was so generic. It was just like, you know, social media kind of managing, and you know, what else did I ask them to do? I can't even remember. It was very, very generic. I was just looking at other people's stuff, and I got like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of applications. I didn't even know where to look, like which one to look at. It was just so overwhelming. My inbox was full. So I took it down because it was just crazy. Like, people are looking for work out there. So then I made it very specific. I was looking for somebody of faith. I wanted them to submit an essay, why their faith was important to them, what they were able to do. And so, because this way, when you get them to submit an essay, you can also see what their writing skill levels are. If they're capable of like communicating in English. Obviously English, I think, is a very common language out in the Philippines. But you want to know like their ability, and then you can ask like different questions, like, you know, what type of experience do you have? Are you familiar with, you know, Facebook, Instagram? Are you familiar with YouTube? Are you familiar, like, and just ask specific questions. And then those who are really interested in your posting, they will actually answer your questions. Some people won't. They'll still just like they'll send you their resume. That's it. And those people, I didn't even look because they didn't even answer the questions that I wanted them to answer. So then it really narrowed it down. Then I did a Skype interview with about 3 or 4 of them. And then I decided from there. So, yeah, which is really cool. Like that you can actually hire somebody from across the world. So now, do you guys have any questions about the hiring process? No? Okay.
I'm just looking at the site.
Yeah.
And I just typed in like fitness coaching as like something to search.
Yeah.
And I mean, like all kinds of people show up, and then they have like their salary of what they're like, they post like they'll do 10 hours a week, but it's like $14 an hour or, you know what I mean? Like, and there's a variety here, but I guess like it would just be finding the right person, obviously, that's gonna be able to do those things for you, right?
Yeah.
Like, and this one's like 40 hours a week. Dang. Like, yeah. Like how many hours? I guess that's my question for you is,
my girl works between 37 and 42 hours a week for me.
Okay.
So, but she also works for Ken. So she does stuff for Ken in those hours. So, but I would say maybe she does like 2 hours. Yes, Noelle.
Yeah. I guess I should ask here. I know I can sort of see your reasoning for going overseas a little bit, but like, why not find, I don't know, like people in Canada who are looking for a
For
job.
work. Yeah.
It truly comes down to cost and like what we have to pay people here versus what we can pay these people. And the other thing I'm going to side with Janelle on this, which feels kind of strange because I agree. I'm like, man, the part that I struggle with this is like giving up a piece of my business that is so personal and unique to me to somebody that's across the world that I don't know. But at the same time, these are willing and wanting workers that are willing and wanting for the wage, and they're setting, like they're actually saying on the site what they want to be paid. So it's not like we are underpaying. Like, do you know what I mean? I feel like
I understand you're not underpaying them, but at the same time that this all ties into, you're both from Canada, so we'll go with that. There's a push to buy Canadian because everything's being shipped overseas. So why buy Canadian and that be actually a big deal, because it is a big deal, and then ship out this business to someone overseas? Not that they don't need it, but at the same time, there are people here who are looking for work. And I know it comes down to cost, but that's what any business can say.
Totally.
Yeah, actually, I hired somebody from Canada before, Noelle. So I've had somebody, like I had a friend help me out with some of my work and stuff like that. And it was good. It was good. But of course, but at the same time, honestly, like my girl from the Philippines, like it does require a lot of trust, but she's also incredibly efficient. Like the work ethic of her, like compared to the other girl that I had, is not even comparable. And not that I'm saying that Canadian workers cannot be of good work ethic, but I think you probably, I guess you could try that. You can try a Canadian helper if you want, but and that was something that I wrestled with too. And they even have like videos online just sharing about, and this is your point, about how it helps these people in the Philippines too, right? So is there something wrong with helping somebody in the Philippines? I guess that's something that.
But in the same way, it's like asking any business, because this is a business when it comes down to it. You have to applaud those businesses that keep their businesses in Canada, or keep them in the country they go in, and don't go to China or other countries because they can get people for a lower wage. And I just I didn't even know what this call was about, so I just hopped on thinking it was because no, this is actually, I'm not trying to judge in any way, but I'm just saying, as someone who just walked in and started hearing about this, it's like, oh, this is not something I expected, if I can say it that way.
And that's okay. Like you can totally think what you want to do, and I'm not saying that everybody would have to hire somebody from, and you don't even have to hire anybody. Like you can run this business all from your own, and that's what I did for 2.5 years. I did it all.
I think that's my favorite part about any of these MLMs, but especially Beachbody stuff, because our coaching is unique to ourselves. And I know that, I don't know your story, Noelle, or what it's like in your world, but I'm a full-time teacher, mom of 3 kids, working a full-time, I consider this a full-time coaching business where I'm earning, half of my teacher salary already with my coaching business on top of it. So I know that the time that I have in my day, I'm feeling like Janelle was feeling 2 years ago, where there was holes in her business, where I'm like, crap, I don't have enough time to keep growing the way I want this to grow to enable me to potentially leave my job. Right? And in order for me to do that, I have no, and I've been listening to Rachel Hollis's new book today, I have no problem hiring help. Whether it's hiring help for my house in order to alleviate me to do that, whether it's paying somebody the money to complete my house, which, I have 1,200 square feet. It takes me an hour. We're good. But other spaces of my life like this might require me to hire somebody, but I know that I am not earning enough, or perhaps I'm not willing to give up enough of the earnings to pay the wages of the people that are here. And I know that the quality of work, I'm going to have to do my homework, but in the very end of it, nobody's requiring this. This is going to be up to all of us to discern whether or not we need it or not. And I know that I have coaches on my team that will not need this at all for a very long time.
Well, no, for sure. And I'm not in any way saying, this had not even crossed my mind because, you know,
No, yeah.
I'm a mom of 3. The oldest is 3.
Yeah.
So I'm stay-at-home mom. I'm super busy that way. I don't have an outside job.
Yeah.
But at the same time, my first job is to my kids. So this cannot take up all my time.
Yeah.
Of course.
However, I see it as an awesome thing to do. And I'm really hoping that, you know, the time I put into it pays off. However, walking in, hearing this, and I'm just going to present this. I know this is a recorded thing and a lot of people probably are not going to agree with me, but I'm just going to, if you don't mind, spout out what like initially my reaction is that how can we talk about how great the money we're earning from this is if we're essentially shipping out a whole bunch of our work overseas? You know what I mean?
The thing is,
you know, I can talk about, oh, I'm making this great money, but I'm hiring this person overseas, and I don't know, it just doesn't.
You know what, Noelle? I really totally appreciate your perspective because it is one, and it's one that comes from the heart. It really is. And it was something that I had to really pray about. But you know what? I've seen so much how much this has blessed my assistant and her family and her extended family. It really makes me happy to be in contact with her. But that's definitely something that's going to have to be like wrestled with. And if you don't agree with me, that's totally okay. But I would, if you don't mind, I would like to just continue on with the call because there's
I said my question, so
that's okay.
Tap out, but thanks for answering.
Okay, thanks, Noelle. Okay, so basically, I just want to quickly go through what the tasks are that she does for me because I know that's something that people always want to know. And for one, like she's not me. Like my assistant is not me, and so therefore, like our coaching, something that we value so much is the relationships that we build with our customers, right? And with our coaches. So every time that I'm connecting with my coaches, it's me, unless it's like something like, hey, like she'll post the team call post on the team page because that doesn't require me. Like, or not the team call, the national wake up call, for example. So I'm just going to quickly go over all of our, all of the tasks that she does for me. And of course, this has, evolved over the last 2 years because in the beginning, I didn't really know what, and I didn't know what I felt comfortable offering to her because kind of like you were saying, Carrie, like it's kind of a scary thing to, you know, allow someone into your Facebook account, for example, or into your Instagram account because you really have to have an element of trust with them. And that's why when it comes down to the hiring process, you really have to be careful with who you allow in because like I said, like you're providing them with, you know, sensitive information like your passwords and stuff like that. Okay, so let me just find you my thing here. Okay, so like one thing that she does is she sends out those personal messages to people who have liked my Instagram or like started following me on Instagram or liked my Facebook page. Because like, for example, I think that was one of the main reasons why I had originally hired her because I don't think I had sent out messages thanking people for liking my page and letting them know what they could find at my page for like 6 months, you know? And so there was like tons and tons and tons of people that were not being reached out to. And then also like she'll check all my notifications to see if there's like something important that I need to tend to. She also goes through all of my inbox messages because, and then she'll file them so that she actually just recently started using Asana. If you're familiar with that, it's like a system that helps you to kind of keep track of your messages. And that way she just organizes everything and filters it so that I know in priority what needs to be dealt with. And then what else does she do? She checks all like my messages from my personal account, from my Faith and Fitness account. Also, she will she'll send out like just messages to anybody who has, you know, ordered a challenge pack, for example, just reminding them that, you know, Shakeology does go on Home Direct. You know, what do you want to do? Do you want to, you know, get the discount? Would you like to like, here's the number if you need to contact Beachbody. Like, if you have any questions, how is your Shakeology? She'll send out those ones for me as well. And then I'll respond to the responses. So anything that has like kind of like a typical standard script to it, she will send those out for me so that I can then I can respond to their questions. What else does she do? Oh, like she actually posts now she does, because I was getting really like having a hard time even getting my Workout Wednesday posts up. She'll do those for me in the morning. All my posts, however, other than the Workout Wednesday post, I do all my own posts. And then she'll do the draw for me at the end of the month. She sends out emails to all my new customers, just giving them a welcome. And she sends out my monthly emails to everybody. I write out all the scripts for her so that she knows what needs to be sent out. And then also, like, let's say you have like a post that you do with a recipe or something like that, and people say, oh, I want the recipe. She'll send the recipe for me, because it's just a standard, like, oh, here's the recipe, right? Other than that, I think invites to all. Yeah, I think that. Oh, and then she'll send out like invites. So she'll invite like anybody who has recently liked my page or followed me on Instagram. She will just send them an invite to my next free group. And that's it. Hi, Diana. Nice to see you. Okay.
I think it's really important to say, though, like when I look at your stuff, Janelle, and I look at the following that you've built over the past 4.5 years, which is also connected to Ken's following, and the fact that the two of you are journeying through the faith thing with two very different lenses, but at the same time, very connected lenses. I definitely have looked at the responses you get on posts and go like, how on earth is she able to even manage that? And I know that you can't do it 100%.
Right.
And I know that even with my own pages, and because I'm running social media for the school district I work for also, and running the social media in those two very different spaces, we're dealing with people. And the reality is that we get to choose how quickly or how slowly we want to move with these things. So if I know that I'm not quite sure how I feel about hiring someone with these sorts of tasks, but at the same time, hearing you talk about it and knowing that somebody else will be doing those things makes my brain go like, oh, that'd be so great but at the same time, I've also been really holding on to the fact that I'm going to walk with this as slowly as I need to for the long haul. Like, I'm not sprinting.
Yeah.
So like we get to all choose how quickly we want to grow or how quickly we want to be able to respond to people, because I know that, sometimes you don't get responses from people for 2 or 3 days. Whereas I know if somebody's messaging me, my instinct is to like now, right? So to the point that I really have to make it conscious. This needs to be out of my space when I'm home, when my kids are here, because I work in such power pockets of my day for everything, not even just this, So I think like we have to remember that we get to choose. And just because, you're doing it this way with a virtual assistant or, Rory, and I don't think this is the case, but if Rory had hired a house cleaner to clean her house so that she had time to do this, or so-and-so hired a nanny to hang out with her kids for 3 hours twice a week so that she had 6 hours in a week to do the things, like we can hire help in different ways. And there's no shame in any of that. I think is where we have to remind each other is that if we have dreams, and I had goals and things that I wanted to achieve before I was their mom, as Rachel Hollis says, and like I have things that I want to achieve for myself that are disconnected from Mark or from the kids or my job, things that are just for me. And only in the past, and you've seen it as my coach, you've seen me really take that and set some healthy boundaries for myself. So I know that I don't expect myself to be able to keep up with that kind of messaging.
Yeah.
And I don't expect myself to hit Success Club 30 or 40 or 50. I know that I'm also only comfortable with journeying and getting to know and supporting 5 to 10 people a month.
Yeah. And so am I. So am I, actually.
Right.
Like, I would prefer to just keep at the pace that I was going. Like, and I wouldn't be able to continue on.
No, because it's not sustainable, right? Because we have real life going on. So we get to choose, and we get to choose the kind of help we ask for. We get to, if you're asking your mother-in-law or your mom or the grandparents or the next door neighbor, or you're swapping for date nights to be able to give yourself some time away, like we get to choose, you know, and I think that this is such an opportunity for all of us, business stuff aside. This is an opportunity for us to be accountable to amazing people, all of us on this screen, and be accountable to a team and be accountable for our wellness, which is gonna be like this. Yeah. This just is.
Yeah. And that's exactly it. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I feel like, prior to hiring an assistant, I was able to put in like maybe 4 hours a day to keep my business growing. But then once, having 2 more kids, homeschooling, I just don't have that time. And so you kind of have to decide what is going to give, or are you going to hire help? And I've had to hire help in many different areas, like you said, like whether it's cleaning the house, whether it's getting babysitters to come into the house to help me, cut up vegetables, do whatever, like just kind of as an assistant in my home. And so this is just one other way that I've helped, like that's helped me like alleviate some of the mommy stress that I have.
Yeah, the pressure.
Yeah. So
yeah, I get it.
Anyhow, the call is going to go off right away. So I was going to open up the floor for any questions that people might have, but like Rory, did you want to say anything, or Diana, anything that comes to your mind?
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I didn't even know if I was on for sure.
That's right, you are.
I've just been listening to the two of you. Not really. This is all brand new to me.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. You just take it all in. This call is probably not the best for like a beginner coach at all. This is something like 2.5 years in is when I started considering even getting extra help with my business. So yeah. Rory,
I'm just enjoying taking in all the information.
Awesome.
I'm learning a lot. So yeah.
It's nice to see you in person, Diana.
Oh, thank you. I think this is the first time I've actually seen you in person like this.
Yeah. Well, welcome.
Yeah.
Rory, did you want to add anything, or what are you?
Yes. Yeah. So just before we got on the call, I was just telling Maggie, I said, I don't know how in the world she hit, 30, and I see you all over, in all your different social media outlets, and I'm telling you, I'm like, I can hardly keep up with like when I post something on Instagram, it takes me a couple days to get back there to check. Like I'll post and post and post, but it takes me a couple days to get back and check if there's any comments or who's following. And like I was trying to do the Jen Richardson's method of following, and I'm having a hard time just doing that. So I've kind of so now I'm back to just dabbling in Instagram and going back to the comfort zone. But I know that I have to kind of, if I wanted to get more exposure and reach more people, I do have to get more on, more on the IG side. But it is very difficult to keep up with that.
It is, yeah.
And I equate my, my part-time job to basically the same hours that you're keeping homeschooling. So, I'm trying to keep pace. I just don't know how to do that. So, and I have heard Shailene talk about, I saw her post on this a couple times about, getting virtual assistants, and it would be something, that I would seriously consider. It's just a matter of timing. Like, when would I be financially able to do that? Even if, whether it was a big salary or a smaller salary, like my sister lives in the Philippines and she works with a lot of people, and she was even encouraging me. She says, if you ever need a virtual assistant, please consider, because there's so many people here that need work.
So Rory, what did your sister say was like an appropriate wage? Because I asked my girl, Christy, and I feel like she's like a very timid and shy person. So I want to know, like, honestly, what is a good wage for somebody in the Philippines?
I told her what I would need, and my stuff is like really basic. Like, I wouldn't expect anybody to create posts for me. Like, I I would formulate the post, like I would create the post and then like have that person be the one to post it and do easy response. Basically what kind of very similar to what you're doing. And she said $5 is a really good wage.
Okay.
It's really good. You can't even, I mean, it's amazing what you can get for an American dollar there. I mean, I traveled to the Philippines and it's amazing what you can get.
So $5 American is a really good wage.
Mm-hmm. For this level of work, like I'm not asking to create visuals. I'm not asking to create a banner, you know, like nothing super creative like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's just posting and or commenting, simple commenting, just like what you said, you know, like just putting out the templates for you and, you know, in a timely manner, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you know, so.
Yeah. And like, yeah, exactly. And a couple other things I was thinking about, like she makes my forms for me. Like I just don't have time to do that.
Yeah.
You don't have time yet, though you want to maintain it.
I want to maintain it and I want to see, and you know what, because I feel like there will be a time when I will be able to do a little bit more, or like, you know, it'll just look differently. And that's the thing, like, yeah. So
having your virtual assistant helps you keep that consistency. Because before I started working part-time, I had the consistency, and ever since I started working part-time, I've lost that consistency and that momentum, and it's so important. I think if I had gotten an assistant right before I started my part-time job, I probably would have been able to maintain that same consistency I had a year ago.
Yeah. I feel like for myself personally, like there hasn't been, other than like maybe Christmas Day, or, you know, I show up like every day doing my vitals, right? Like my little, my hour of work, consistent work every single day. But like, you're right. Like she's able to do those other things that need to get done consistently.
Right.
And that helps the business a lot. So anyhow, if you guys have any more questions about this topic, like I would love to share them with you, anything that I know. I feel like I said, like it's kind of like a dance that you're kind of figuring out with this assistant, trying to figure out, like, you know, even because then you're kind of like a boss to somebody, but I don't even look at it that way. Like I feel like I'm learning so much from her. She's always like, Janelle, have you considered doing a website? Janelle, have you considered, like she's pushing me and I'm like, I'm not ready, you know? So she wants to see this business grow more than I do. And I really appreciate that. And I feel like she has belief in me that I don't even have in myself. So I just appreciate her so much. We have less than a minute left. I just want to share this. Ken is actually speaking in the Philippines in November. And we're going to fly Christy to go and see him speak. So, I just feel like she's
that's fantastic.
So, anyhow, yeah. Okay. Thank you guys for listening and for weighing in. And I love seeing your faces. I really appreciate it. And okay, you guys know how to get a hold of me.
Okay, miss you guys.
It's nice to see you, Diana.
Thank you. Bye, Janelle.
Bye.
Bye.